All right, welcome everyone out to West Lawrence High School here with head football coach Kagan McLean. Coach McLean, we coming off a good win last week.
Yeah, proud of our guys. A big region win. Anytime you get a region win, it's a good thing. Beat a good team, beat them pretty soundly. Played really well on both sides of the football. And did it with some guys out, from injury and from quarantine and all that. So I felt good about it. I thought our kids played well. Thought they responded well. And hopefully we can, keep that rolling.
Yeah. Coach, you going into the game, you'd had a couple of kids out on the offensive line. Your offensive coach was out.
Right.
You really going into I think, a little bit tougher competition than the week before.
Right.
Region game. Even though it was homecoming, you think you pick a winner. You're not really sure. But how did you feel like you started out the game?
Well, we don't get to decide those homecoming games anymore like we used to. It kind of has to fall on the schedule wherever. So definitely wasn't chosen because we thought it was going to be an easy win. Howard's a good football team. We've had battles with them every year, but I thought we started out pretty well. Defensively, we were able to get a lot of stops early. Offensively, we scored on, I think, our second possession, able to take the ball down and score. And that's always good for momentum to get us going because, you know how kids are. You start well, they start believing.
Yeah.
You don't start well, they start doubting, and so you got to keep them up. But I thought we did a good job early in the game of moving the football. We got some really good runs early out of Cordarian Hickman, able to move the chains.
Yeah.
And defensively, we were really stout all game. They moved it a little bit through the air, but we were really able to keep them from really threatening us deep in our territory, and we did a good job with some big plays when we needed it. So overall, I thought it was it was a good football game.
Coach, how you feel about penalties?
I thought it was better. It definitely from the week before when we had so many holding penalties, I thought this week was a lot better. With high school kids, you're going to have penalties, and if officials want to, they could probably call holding every single play in high school. They could find somebody not doing something right. But I thought we improved on that part of the game a little bit. I thought that offensively we didn't shoot ourselves in the foot near as bad as we did the week before with Spalding. And I thought overall it was a much cleaner game from our end than it was the week before.
Yeah. Coach, going into the game, the atmosphere was a little bit different. What do you do, Coach, in a situation like that where you got kids that are going to be out? So you got, four players on the homecoming court, 4 starters, at least 3 of them,
Right.
Key players for you there. And, what was your mindset on that?
That's a tough situation because obviously most people are doing homecomings at the beginning. We elected, not coaching staff, but our system elected to do ours at halftime this year, which is not ideal coaching, but that's just part of it. You gotta adjust, and you gotta be flexible, and you gotta do what you gotta do. So obviously halftime adjustments are a big deal with those kids. You gotta try and get them over as soon as they're done, and quickly go through what we need to fix and what we need to do different in the second half. But I thought they did a good job of getting back in there and listening and being focused and making sure that they took to heart the changes we need to make. I mean, obviously every coach in America would say they would prefer not to do it at halftime.
Sure.
But sometimes those aren't our calls to make,
Yeah.
And but I thought our kids, it was fine, it worked
you
out.
just fast-tracked them, and luckily you had a little cushion.
Yeah, I mean, it was 10-0 at halftime, and we came out and we outscored them, 21-0 in the second half. So I think that our kids did a good job of listening and implementing what we wanted to do at halftime.
Yeah. All right, now, Coach, in looking at the scheme of things, did you feel like you were able to execute what you needed to execute? Yeah,
I thought so. I mean, we wanted to do a much better job up front of getting a hat on a hat on the offensive line. Thought we did a better job of that. We have a very small, undersized, young offensive line. So as far as getting double teams, getting a bunch of movement, that's not our forte. We just got to get on somebody and let our running backs make cuts. And, the week before we turned way too many guys loose, didn't get a hat on a hat, didn't do the things we needed to do. Thought we did a much better job executing that Friday. Thought we made some much better decisions in that regard at quarterback. Had a lot of drops at wide receiver. We got to fix that. I mean, those are gimmies. We got to be able to throw and catch.
Yeah.
But overall, I thought we executed fairly well with our game plan. Thought we had a good defensive game plan. And I thought our kids went out and really played hard and did what they needed to do.
Yeah. Well, when the game was over, Coach, you meet back with the team, you talk to them, you talk with your other coaches the next day and evaluate that, Coach. I know that's very important. Then you got to start getting ready for the next week. But when you're looking at it, I'm sure you pick 1 or 2 players that look really good for you, that stepped up for you, maybe a level beyond you expected. Could you share that with us?
Yeah, I thought offensively, Cordarian Hickman had a really good game. I mean, he had 4 or 5 runs that were just really impressive. He's a tough kid to tackle. He'd get hit at first contact and break 2 or 3 tackles and spin and move and get yards. And And those yards after contact are huge, you know, especially with a young offensive line. And I thought he did a really good job, had a really good game on the offensive side of the football. Defensively, I thought we had a couple kids. Again, we're not a defense as much a standout, so I thought we had some guys that played well. I thought Jathan Willis played well at inside linebacker. I thought Caden Snell played well at outside. I thought T.J. Jones had a good game back on the line for us, coming back after missing last week. So I thought those guys did well. And you know, defensively, you know, we're just that team that we're going to have a bunch of kids who have to do their job. It's not, you know, one kid like we had De'Eric Jackson last year at linebacker or Spencer Dacus at nose that we're just going to dominate their position and make plays no matter what. We got a bunch of guys that have to do their job and have to fit right and have to be smart and have to be coachable. And I thought they did a really good job of that Friday.
Yeah. All right, we'll take a short break and be back. Coach has some highlights for us. Stay tuned.